Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and frenemies, welcome to the first ever Simon Tefula Show. I'm so excited that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to listen to this show, to watch this show, and we have so much in stock for you tonight. Our first guest on this show is Nina Tumanishvili, and she is the founder of an incredible platform, an app called TubeChat. And on my left, we have the incredible Rob Chigozie.
Yes.
And Rob is going to be co-hosting a lot of the episodes with me, and we shall also do an episode with him directly as well. So we have so much to cover, man. Where do we begin?
Where do we begin?
Oh my goodness me. So I'll just set the scene for you, right? You're on the underground, right? You're traveling on the underground. You see somebody, you see a hottie, you see somebody that catches your attention, a spice, you know? And you're thinking, hey man, how do I actually get this conversation started, right? Nina has come up with an incredible idea and a platform that allows you to get that conversation going. So it's an icebreaker app that allows you to begin conversations on the tube setting. I won't say too much about it, but I'll let her tell us more about it as the conversation goes along. We'll find out what inspired her, how she started, the challenges she's faced, and basically, if you have an idea, if you have, a dream or a project you're trying to get off the ground, what can you learn from her story? Because it's an incredible story to learn. So, Nina, welcome to the first episode.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely honoured to be here.
First guest.
First guest, yeah.
Powerful stuff.
The pressure is on. I'm feeling it. Wow. Yeah, first guest. But no pressure. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just be ourselves here. That's the best thing to do. It's the only thing we can do.
Nina, honestly, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Because I know you're a boss lady.
Today has been busy. Team. I am a bit on the sleepy side, but it's fine. I'm pleased to be here.
Yeah.
It's the grind.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah, it's all about the
So, we'll obviously begin a bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, good question. So, actually I come from a country called Georgia.
Okay, which is in Europe, right?
It's kind of like Eastern Europe, might be called like Central Asia. It's basically right, it's like right on the border between Europe and Asia. So it's like Eurasia, and we've got like the Caucasian mountains, and we're just south of Russia and like north east of Turkey. So we've got like really interesting geography going on around there. And yeah, the country is called Georgia, and I grew up in London. I moved here when I was 9 months old.
Oh wow.
And frequently I was, confused for being American. So people would ask me, oh, you don't sound American, and I said, well, actually it's because I'm not American, I'm from Georgia, like the country.
That's such a weird, what? That's such a weird...
Yeah, because obviously Georgia, the state.
Oh,
yeah, Georgia state. Because until recently, people don't know about Georgia. Yeah, like...
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, they're like, is that a place? Like in 2008, we had like a bit of a war that kind of
I had that,
got us in the news for a bit. Then, I mean, recently more and more people are traveling to Georgia, which I'm so happy about. Especially like young, cool people that are into like electronic dance music.
No, I went to Montenegro.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, like
completely.
Sorry, my bad.
It's fine. I think you're one of the people that needs to get.
Let's keep it rolling.
That's okay. That's fine. No judgment.
No
geography classes later after the show. So basically that's where I'm from. Both my parents are from Georgia. I grew up in London. I still try and maintain my like Georgian roots. So I visit like twice a year. I can speak Georgian fluently. At home it was like basically, Georgian all the time. So my grandmother like drilled it into me and said, there's no way you're not speaking Georgian. So I'm like multilingual, which I'm very grateful for, and I feel like I'm still in touch with like my heritage. But I consider myself a Londoner, like through and through, and this is home to me.
The key question is
which part?
So North
you
London.
need to watch how you answer this because it can.
I know. It can get intense.
Exactly.
So I grew up in Stoke Newington. In Hackney,
Ah!
back when it was really rough.
I know, yeah.
It was
kind of like,
it was proper rough.
kind of how I grew up in South London.
Before gentrification.
Yeah.
Before the gentrification, guys. Let's get straight to the point.
And I like kind of know the area really well because I went to school in Stokey, but we had actually like a family restaurant on Broadway Market.
Oh wow!
And that was really
Did you ever
rough.
work in the restaurant?
I was always there. I was like running around the restaurant, like causing trouble, but I loved it because I used to like just be able to do what I wanted. And you know, I like just had the best time there. But
so who set up the restaurant? Your parents?
yeah. So it was like
that was an entrepreneurial venture, basically. So
yeah, you're right.
sort of
It's
begin to pick
true.
up
I mean, I think they just set it up just for like kind of lulls.
Okay.
No one was really like great at running a restaurant, but I think they just wanted something to do and they wanted to introduce people to like Georgian culture and food, and it was the first Georgian restaurant in London. Now there's a few of them, but yeah, like I grew up there and I went back a couple of years ago. Now it's no longer like there, and it seemed so much bigger to me back in the day when I was like really small, and now I was like walking down, you know, the stairs, and I realised the gap between me and the like, you know, the is actually like not that big,
So
but
and
and I remembered it being so big and like so like quite nostalgic. But Hackney has changed a great deal, as you guys probably know, most people.
So do you think sort of seeing what your family built there with the restaurant, do you think that kind of triggered some entrepreneurial juices within you to kind of like almost subconsciously though, do you know what I mean? Because at the time you were messing around and running around.
I agree. So good question.
Yeah.
Actually, like the restaurant was just one small thing like my family did.
Okay.
I come from a background of like in film and theatre.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And my grandfather's uncle founded one of a big like theatre company in Tbilisi in Georgia.
Wow.
And it's named after my surname. My surname is the name of the theatre. And it's called the Tumanishvili theatre, and it's still going to this day, and they still remember him very highly. I know that was one thing. Then my grandfather's also in film, and he's done a bunch of stuff. Like he's worked with cities and stuff like this. I mean, he's been always like hustling around doing stuff. So my father's side is like quite entrepreneurial. And I didn't realise that maybe that had an influence on me. But I just always remember them doing stuff, you know, like
your mom's side?
different projects. My mum's side, not as much. My mum is an artist. I think my mum never really found what it was that she really loved to do. So she's kind of like not as driven maybe and ambitious as I am, but she's an amazing woman, probably one of the best people I've ever met and will meet. But she's just not like, you know, proper business minded.
It's not for everyone though.
Yeah, it's not for. I mean, it's a grind. You really got to be. Yeah.
Have you got any siblings that are entrepreneurs or have anything entrepreneurial going on?
Yeah, so I basically have two half sisters that are younger than me, but no, like they're too young to be entrepreneurs yet. But I mean, actually, my younger sister, she's been like making a lot of headway with just like she started a blog. She speaks about politics quite a lot. She it's a bit of a thought leader for someone her age, and is like. You know, done talks and events already. Gets a lot of like shares on her like posts and stuff. Cool. So I think watch this space, see what she ends up.
She'll be in here being interviewed next.
She's into philosophy as well, which is cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So in terms of you then grew up in Hackney, went to like a public school or like a private school or more comprehensive, and then uni as well.
Good question. So actually, like my upbringing was really diverse.
Okay.
So I grew up in Hackney, which was quite like a deprived part of London, you know, especially back in the day. It was rough. And you know, I would stay with my grandmother who lived, you know, in social housing at one point. Then I went to a paid school, which was very different to like what I was seeing before then. So, and I've had friends in like coming from completely different like economic backgrounds. So honestly, like I feel as though I've seen, you know, all different sort of walks of life, and I have friends that represent, you know, probably the super high net worth sort of like band, and then people that are just more humble and like, you know, sort of working day to day.
I find that sort of growing up like that kind of gives you a very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I've experienced the extremities of the socio-economic kind of environment as it were in the UK. So no, that's I relate to that. Definitely.
Yeah, but you know what? To me it never felt like a massive thing, you know, sort of coming from you know, a background that wasn't maybe as or like it. I don't feel like class or like economic stance should be like a massive thing.
Absolutely,
although it really, you know, for some people it's like I didn't realize till later in life that obviously, you know, you have more opportunities, but I don't think it should influence us as much as it kind of does, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we bring up this question is because, you know, so many studies are being done. You know, your environment, you know, obviously it makes a difference. So people always ask, you know, are leaders born or bred? Is it the environment? Is it nature or natural? So it's always important to kind of find out where did somebody grow up and, you know, what kind of education they had. So then you moved to uni. What uni did you go to? What did you study?
I believe personally leaders are like born. I feel like regardless of like, you know, the situation you're born in and the environment, I feel like you can like definitely make something of yourself if you are determined to do so. Do you agree?
No,
especially in the UK, right? Like
got the resources.
Yeah, you can do it. You really can. So I encourage everyone that's tuning in, like just go for it. Like I truly hand on heart believe that if you work hard enough, you can achieve like anything. The sky's the limit, hey? Right.
Yeah, the boss lady has spoken.
Do it. The question
So you went
was,
to uni, what uni?
Yeah, so I actually went to a school in London called the School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS. And half of my degree was at King's, I did a bit at UCL. It was a joint degree in economics and geography.
Oh, cool.
And
Why did you choose to study that?
Yeah, I was just interested in like world affairs and how the world kind of works together, and the like combination of those two subjects really helped me like sort of make observations on why this is the way it is, and like how does our history like predetermine, you know, the way certain nations are perceived, you know, in this day and age. And it was super interesting, and I always had a lot of interest in like emerging economies and stuff like that. So at SOAS, I learned a lot about Africa, Asia, you know, and then I like did further research into what I was really interested in is commodities and resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, you know, like the resource curse and stuff like that. So that kind of became my dissertation topic.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So you finish uni. What happens next?
So I finished uni, and in my second year, basically, I woke up with this idea for like a localized internet, and this was pre like Tinder time. So I was like, hey, why don't we have a service that basically links people that are in the same place at the same time, like right now? And you know, I told one of my friends, and he kind of followed apps and stuff a lot more than me. I mean, I would use the stuff that I needed, but I was never like super driven by tech and following TechCrunch or anything like this. So, and I was just like, hey, what do you think of this idea? And he was like, yeah, it's cool. And then, you know, a couple of months after Tinder came out, and obviously you guys know how that blew. It went from like doing something.
I say Sam uses it every day.
And it was like, when it started, it was so embarrassing to be found on Tinder. And like, my friends were like, you know, my guy friends were like, hey, we saw this like friend of yours on Tinder, and she's really desperate, and she really like hungry. And I'd be like, whoa. I mean, chill out, guys. But over the years, like, it became just super normal to use Tinder, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I knew that I had to complete university till I ever did anything. So, I like, you know, followed my path. I thought I'd go down like the NGO like route or work for like sort of. I always wanted to make an impact on something, but my degree taught me that, you know, the world is screwed and you can't just really do the stuff you want to do, even if you are at the UN or World Bank or wherever. So it's like I got a bit disheartened by the whole thing, and I was like, you know what? I think I'd rather be an entrepreneur. Or I'd rather just make a lot of money in finance or banking or whatever it is, and then, you know, invest it in causes I believe in, because I felt as though, you know, to some extent, these organizations that I wanted to join were kind of like not really true.
Right.
And whereas, you know, if you become an investment banker or whatever, you know, it's not ideal, but at least they're kind of true to what they are and do, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I left
that's
kind of disheartened
very
from
interesting,
SaaS.
yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, everything I wanted to do, you guys kind of like convinced me against. So yeah, I left and I wasn't really sure what to do, but I had this idea that I really believed in and cared about. And, you know, over time, I just made observations with the way, you know, people were interacting with each other, and I realized people are always on their phones. They're always like using social media.
Yeah.
They're always like adding selfies, filters, you know, Instagramming. And I was like, hey, we're kind of losing our ability to be people again and like interact with each other like real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I feel like people are kind of just becoming like, just developing like social anxiety, almost like, it's mad, so mad.
Have you received a call recently? How does that make you feel?
It's like receiving, you know that question is like, have you received a handwritten letter recently, and how does that make you feel?
I love that.
Honestly, it's incredible. So I grew up in the north. So I grew up in Birmingham and Manchester.
Yeah.
And there's more of a community up north. Like when you meet somebody at the bus stop, it's not very weird.
You can have a chat, to
have a chat with somebody and say, hey man, how's it going? You know, like. But in London, like, there's always been that perception, even before I moved here, that you sort of, like, people in London don't talk to anybody. You don't talk to any, you know, you get on the train to work, you see the same people every day. Nobody talks to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I came down here, I was so conscious because I thought, okay, and in fact, this is really interesting. One time I realized when I got, you know, have you ever run for a train? Just before the doors closed, right? And I just about made it through, right? When I made it through, there was this really pretty girl, and she was sat there and she was looking at me. She started smiling at me because I was like, yes!
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah. Just because I made it through.
Is that what it's so emotional though?
So I made it through. I'm like, yes. And then she looks at me and she smiles at me, and I give her the stone cold look, and I realize, oh my God, I'm turning into one of these people. They were telling me. So from that day onwards, I make the effort.
Why did you give us?
If I make
Simon, you've always.
I don't know how to say.
Why did you be like that, bro?
I don't know. Anyway, I'm making up for my sins. I started the show. Yeah, so it's all good.
That's it.
So anyway, and the reason I bring the story up is because I consciously now have to make the effort to make that conversation, you know, to start those conversations. And you guys know we're part of this, you know, building this accelerator program and this, and like I talk to everybody.
Yeah. So
like I literally talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So I make the effort. But tell me, at what point did you realize, okay, you know what, this is actually a real problem?
Yeah.
And at what point did you begin to come up with this conception of this idea?
Okay, good question. Actually, I've been really extrovert my whole life. Like, I start conversations with randomers all the time.
That's cool.
You know, I have conversations with people on the street, like, you know, just because I'm just interested in people. I love people, and I like, you know, I feel better after like interaction and building some sort of connection that gives me energy. So I basically realized that other people don't have these interactions as much, and I feel like they must be missing out. And then I'm also obsessed with the fact that like we're missing out on all these opportunities all the time. So I kind of wanted to, you know, people in cities, there's so many people you're passing day to day that you're missing out on, and I kind of felt, you know, a bit of FOMO, and I was like, it would be great if there was some sort of tool where if I was bored one time and I like wanted to have interact, you know, I could just do it in an easy way, and other people could do it as well. And also that after I left uni, I felt a bit lonely at one point for some reason, which was weird.
Do you know what? I relate to that, man.
Did you? Yeah, it was weird.
Uni blues is real, man. And you come away from it, it's like.
Yeah, maybe it's just because, like, you know, one chapter of your life has ended, you've got to start another one, your friends do. And I feel like it was a combination of things, and I felt kind of lonely at one point, and then I realised I'm probably the most extrovert out of all my friends. Why do I feel this way? And then I just felt like, hey, I've got this cool idea. I feel like it could have a really big positive impact on, like, you know, my friends, other people, you know, like me, and I just kind of wanted to do it. And at the time, I really had no idea how hard it is to, like, first of all, you know, ship anything, then, like, you know, get it on the App Store, then, you know, get people to download it and, like, you know, get involved. So I had no idea, and I just went for it. I got myself in some financial difficulties because I just took out a loan at one point and just.
Did you have a job at the time? Did you have a full-time job? Or?
Yeah, so when I hired my first developer, I was working 3 jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
Because basically I took out a loan.
Overtime.
Yeah, I put all my savings into it.
Yeah.
Then I tried to get a loan and I couldn't get a loan, so my mum took out a loan, and I was like, hey, I'll definitely.
Shout out to mum, by the way.
Shout out to mothers.
Mum is
oh
the
my
best.
goodness me.
So my dad didn't back me, so my mum did.
Okay.
And she's amazing. So if I ever am successful, I just hope I can pay back. Yeah, I hope so. And then I took out this loan with help of mum, and I just couldn't pay the interest repayments anymore. And I was paying for a developer, and it got really scary.
Was it an outsourced developer?
No, so I've hired a couple of so actually in the early days they were all students and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was still quite a big
What year are we
expense.
talking about? Last year? Or?
No. I've been doing this for 3 to 4 years now.
Oh my god.
But I've developed 4 prototypes as a non-technical founder.
Oh, wow.
4 different apps, some of which I never launched.
Okay.
Actually, most of them I never launched.
So this brings
Web
up
apps,
a really interesting point.
all sorts of apps.
Finding developers in the tech
It's a nightmare.
is a nightmare, especially if you're a non-tech founder.
Yeah.
Oh, I always say, we've had this conversation.
It's a nightmare. It's the worst thing anyone could.
Because it's kind of hard to differentiate because everyone can develop.
And everyone has an idea.
Everyone is in front of you.
First of all, everyone has an idea. Everyone has an app idea, and everyone has fun. So I always say that trying to find a developer is like trying to find someone handsome or beautiful.
100%.
It's like trying to get into a relationship because all the really good ones are already taken.
Yeah.
Or you must have lots of money to attract.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
the ones
right. But sometimes you get lucky, you get blessed, and that's part of my story that I'll tell later in a different podcast.
But
anyway.
also, I want to add, in the early days, I had this real sense of oh my god, if I don't get this out there right now, someone else is going to do it.
Oh,
and
yes,
also, you're skeptical about sharing the idea with a lot of people, so you're
if somebody steal it.
I developed serious anxiety in the early days, so I was trying to get this done, trying to not tell everyone, and it was it was really a stressful time. But then I just realized you've got to share your idea with as many people as possible because
just
it's
on
so
that point,
hard.
by the way, sorry to interrupt you. The bit about the anxiety.
Yeah.
This is a very common problem with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And people starting stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's so many challenges that you have to deal with on your own, right?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that? I mean, did you have any sort of remedies? Did you have any sort of you did meditation or yoga? What was your way of coping with this?
Okay, so I've always been a very laid back, chilled person. Even the way I speak is very monotone and So I feel out of my friends always say, you're so laid back. I feel like that's really helped me do this. But now I'm more used to it because of the experiences. But in the early days, it really was a roller coaster like this. Some days were so high, some days were so low, and not even me being so laid back and chill could deal with it. But over time, you just learn to manage your expectations, and now rejection doesn't faze me at all.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, it's just another
we get
rejection.
rejected on a daily.
It's hey, you just go with it, and it's I feel over time you really learn to just trust yourself and know that you will make it, even if it takes more time, and maybe that's a coping mechanism, the ability to trust yourself and just roll with it and maintain that calmness and focus and persevere. Perseverance, I think, helps you. Just seeing that, hey, I got through that challenge, I'll get through the next one. So over time, I guess, you just develop more of a belief in yourself, which I think has happened for me, and now I'm less anxious.
So many nuggets of things you've said in there that I could tap into. I think right now, let's just really drill down into this product.
What
is TubeChat in your own words?
I'd love to tell you guys. So basically, going back to what we discussed with tech kind of taking over our lives, I believe in human and face-to-face interactions quite strongly. So I wanted to develop something that was basically still using tech and smartphones, which we always carry around in our pockets, but was going to sort of like encourage real life face-to-face interaction. So I developed this app that is a social icebreaker for the underground, because I feel like people on the underground are the most disconnected out of everywhere in London. And also there's this problem with networking, so nothing else works on the underground except TubeChat on an actual train. So what we do is like we discover people that are around you on a carriage, and we send icebreaker messages, and you can play the I Spy game. So you can go, I spy with my little eye, something beginning with like, I don't know,
That's quite
what
cool.
do briefcase like be, or or whatever. And it's meant to be a way to just encourage like real life interaction. So that's the aim.
That's really cool. So you're kind of like, I guess, leveraging the fact that, well, first of all, identifying the fact that we are very much glued to our phones.
Yeah.
But then kind of like having like a positive spin off to it, and leveraging that as a tool to break down these barriers.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And then the only thing I want to add is, we've spent years, basically another reason why it's taken me so long is that the tech we are like, experimenting with is super interesting, because what we do is we basically link devices just peer-to-peer. So we create a network with devices that are in range, and we broadcast, sort of messages between them without linking to like, a server elsewhere.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's all decentralized.
So I've used the app, so it uses Bluetooth, right?
Bluetooth, so we mainly rely on Bluetooth, but just having Wi-Fi enabled also helps us broadcast messages.
Okay, cool.
That's how it works on the underground,
I see.
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi direct.
So eventually, when did you release the first version? Because I know there's a interesting story about that.
We released TubeChat version 1 in May 2017, and then we spent another year testing the tech all the time, sort of seeing how well connections were working, how well discovery was working. We've got all sorts of problems because, different iOS means that the app works, differently, and then also, all sorts of problems with the stack. So Apple doesn't really want us to be doing this 100%. So we have to come up with smart ways to get around it. Oh, I mean...
You're cannibalizing their messaging business? I mean, they don't even have a messaging business.
No, not really that, but I feel like the uses of this tech could be broader than just what we do.
Of course.
And second...
we had a bit of chat about that.
Yeah, we had a bit of chat. Well, we can continue that another time. But also, the fact is, ideally we want to broadcast in background mode. So you can be walking around and, we will just connect you with people that are nearby. But right now, you kind of need to launch the app. And Apple, very controlling of how they want their apps used, and you've got to follow very strict guidelines and frameworks. So it's been quite hard, but I'm really pleased with what we've got right now, and I feel like it's a massive improvement compared to the first version.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the Android side of things, you haven't done any Android yet so far?
No Android yet, but we're working on it, and hopefully that will be coming soon. Fingers crossed. But that's another challenge because Apple doesn't really want Android to they're not 100% keen on connections between the two. So we've got to come up with really smart ways of doing that. That's another challenge. Yeah, but hopefully coming soon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you have an app now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much ready to launch because I've actually used it.
We've launched,
exactly.
Yeah, we are live.
Where's the launch party?
No, okay. Funny story about the launch party. It was called a launch party, but we got rejected from the App Store. So I was going to call it the app rejection party, but then people were like, oh, that's embarrassing. So we rolled with it. But we actually launched a week after, and we just pushed through an update yesterday.
Okay.
And we
picked up
and we're live. We're live. So
fantastic.
Really pleased about that.
People can actually go onto the App Store and download TubeChat. So TubeChat is spelled as one word, right?
Yeah, so it's TUBECHAT as one word. TubeChat.
Fantastic.
Download now.
Now.
Link
Download,
up, play,
use,
chat.
Link up,
socials,
begin conversation.
So it's TubeChat_app. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, we're trying our best with socials.
The thing I love about this app is that, it helps people begin conversations. I mean, for me, that's just something that I feel there's a much greater purpose than just trying to make money because, it's right about entrepreneurs and, everyone's trying to get paid. Everyone's trying to secure the bag, right?
Secure bag.
Yeah.
But you're actually bringing something that fundamentally has the potential to change the way we communicate in society. And
I believe that, truly.
That's amazing. And for me, the other thing I find incredible about what you're doing is that if you look at the tech landscape, like I've always said, right, it's very male, pale, and still. And part of the reason of doing this, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Part of the reason of doing this podcast and this show is that we want to bring a bit of of color, seasoning, and spice.
Some herbs.
Yeah, some herbs, some flavoring.
Flavor in this.
Because honestly, in the tech world, it's just crazy. Like it's a very monolithic thing. So, tech is changing the world we live.
Yeah.
It's changing our lives.
Yeah.
People are being laid off. People are losing jobs because they're being replaced by these algorithms and this machine learning apps.
Glad you touched on that.
And so the thing is, the people building these products and services don't reflect the diversity of the reasons. And this is a major problem.
Yeah.
And the reason I love what you're doing is you are actually bringing the flavor and you're actually designing.
Thank you so much.
And you're changing stuff because we need more people like you to actually develop more products and services that reflect the diversity of society we live in and the diversity of ideas, because if we have the same group of people kind of creating the same kind of product. So for me personally, this is what I really love about it.
Awesome.
And I think that you're onto something really good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not for everybody, but in terms of where you hoping to go next from here? Now, when you launch, what are your plans from here onwards? Because now.
Okay. I really appreciate you touching on the fact that robots are like replacing us as humans, and even AI to some extent is making us less human. My aim with all of this is to basically, return us back to being more human and just return us back to human interactions, because even myself, I spend so much time on my phone and on my laptop and stuff. One of the most social people, ever, have become more antisocial because I'm just always around tech, and I'm hoping that this, what I work on and what I go on to develop will just, in the modern age where we're striving towards, exactly, automatizing everything and conversations with chatbots and stuff, that I can just link us back to each other and hopefully, provide a bit of an antidote to all of this and remember what it's like to just feel that energy or, that mutual bond when you actually just have that random interaction that is actually really real. So that's what the dream for me is to just encourage those real life interactions, and TubeChat is just kind of the first stage of what we want to do. I felt as though it would be a smart way to launch, because the London Underground has this social awkwardness problem for real.
Tell me about it.
And then also the networking problem, and
it's unreal. Look, for me,
it seemed great for us to launch there.
I've lived in London for just about 3 years now. I never really appreciated the concept of personal space until I go into the underground. That underground train at 7 in the morning, right? When everyone's just elbowing each other. That is insane.
You wear wash out here, that is.
Oh my god. And in summer, it's in.
Central Line. God.
It's madness.
It's true. It is pretty tragic. I'm not gonna lie.
Tragic stuff.
Yeah. So look, I really I feel like, because you're creating something that hasn't really been done before. Yeah. The phrase tube chatting might actually become a thing.
100%.
Because because people could actually use that phrase as a way of kind of saying, I'm icebreaking, because you can actually use this tip in different scenarios as you plan to, right?
Yeah. So TubeChat is our first introductory product, and we're going to launch other stuff for universities we want to experiment with, venues as well, potentially co-working spaces, bars, clubs, other stuff like that. Because, the tube is really out there, right? If we can have an impact on the tube and people use this on the underground, then the chances of people using this, in a bar and club and co-working space and stuff like that is far less risky, right? So I wanted to dive in with the most risky proposition. Yeah. And if it sails, then I think I've got quite a lot of reason to believe that it will take off in other use cases.
Because you had 3,000 downloads in a random country.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
What?
Thanks to Is that what you...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in the early days, you know, I just wanted to get something on the App Store that I could like demo with investors and, you know, press and stuff like this. So I just put this app on the App Store that I wasn't really that proud about. But, you know, one day I just started receiving lots of downloads and I was like, oh, this is like kind of strange. I wonder like why. We got featured on the Chinese App Store.
Wow.
So we got featured there. We weren't like on the featured page, but we were on like a trending list for social
China,
networking.
It's a
and
billion people. You
Yeah.
can see it, right?
Yeah. So we were like, you know, on that list, and we were just getting like traction from there. But it took me a long time to find out what it was. So now most of our users are in Asia, but yeah, we're just about to start promoting TubeChat for the London Underground. But the interesting thing was, you know, even in our App Store description there, it said app for the Underground, and you know, they were still downloading it in Asia, which is kind of bizarre, but cool as well.
You know, it's really difficult.
Well, I was like happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is what I'm saying. So you're creating a product that transcends not geography but like cultures. Because the problem is a universal problem, right? Like beginning conversations with with strangers is a universal problem we all face, and I think that a lot of people will be able to tap into that. Now let's drill into the process of fundraising and kind of like raising money, because this is a challenge for lots of entrepreneurs, for minority and kind of like disadvantaged, but also for women. We had this conversation earlier about the stats right now. What has been your experience of raising money? First of all, quote those stats back to me. We spoke about.
So
what's been your experience about?
Based on stats we reviewed earlier, 17% of founders in tech are women. TechCrunch.
Basically, that's pretty much less than what? That's like less 1% out of
5.
That's that's mad.
And it's something like 2% receive VC funding, which is nuts. Very disappointing. Really
I think something like 0.5 of that are women of color. Less even.
Wow.
That's just like exactly right. So, what's been your experience of navigating this whole investor world? Like, have you been out there pitching, and have you had any issues with any men? Because I have a lot of friends who are female founders, and this is a universal problem. I mean, what's been your experience with this? Have you had issues with men kind of propositioning you while you're pitching, or like?
Okay, so I have in the past experienced sort of like inappropriate comments. I mean, I'm not going to go into it.
Of course.
But I mean, it does kind of throw you off your game, because you think, oh God, maybe, I'm not good enough to like be leading this company, and I shouldn't do it because all I'm seen as is, someone wants to go on a date with me. But, after, I kind of now just take it as a compliment, and I'm like, okay, thanks for like the validation. And, can you help, as in, I can't change people's perceptions. I tell them what's right and wrong. And I just kind of have started to use it to my advantage, because when I'm pitching on a stage of like 10 guys, I am probably more memorable because I'm a woman. Besides, the product I'm working on, and I'm just trying to use it to my advantage, because it's annoying because you get thrown off your game and you start thinking, but then I just realised, I can't avoid what gender I am, so I'm just going to have to roll with it and learn how to deal with it.
That's it.
But I did get disheartened, and I tried to fundraise like a year ago, and it didn't go as well as I'd hoped, so I just put the towel in and focused on product. But I was lucky because I had a bit of like angel investment to keep me going. So I've not been fundraising for a while, and I've tried to focus on like the important stuff, which is product. And now I've got to go back out there with the fundraising pitches and stuff. But I feel like a different person now. I feel like I can go for it and it will be good.
Absolutely.
But it's really hard fundraising, especially hard for a woman, because I feel like there is preconceived judgment about me for being this like naive young girl. And I can't change who I am, but I guess for me, I've realized it's all about data and showing like real traction and a good product, and then people will, undeniably the right investor will see something in you and back you. I have met some amazing investors who have helped me like who have helped me loads in the past, but I haven't raised proper funding yet. It's been through like friends and family.
Friends, triple F, friends, family, and fools.
Yeah.
We don't recommend anyone. Fooling anyone for money.
Got a bootstrap.
Yeah,
I'm bootstrapping.
So
But it's so hard. It's
exactly.
Because you want to keep focused on the product, you want to work on it full time. You also got bills to pay, and the stress just becomes too much.
I found.
Man, I know how hard it is. Yeah.
Like, I feel like ideally I should just have people fundraising every single day.
Yeah.
Focus on building the business and people.
So after I went through that really hard time in my life, I did get some investment, which has helped keep me sane and helped me run at this for like a year and a half. But that's running out, so now I do need to get back on it. But the stress of managing a job and some people just lead you on for ages, and it's just like just tell me if you're interested in this.
Oh no, yeah, exactly.
The ghosting is
go around
real.
Ghosting. That's a big issue, man.
It's just like, tell me, are you interested, yes or no?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm good.
I mean, some people have led me on for like a year, and it's just like...
A year?
Yeah.
You're really patient.
I told you I'm chill, that's the only reason why I've like survived this.
You need to tell me if you're interested.
I know, but it's mad, honestly.
It's weird. So now I just, I'm very direct. I'm like, are you interested, yes or no? And I feel like the real... people that really understand the investment game and the proper respectable VCs out there will just tell you, hey, this is not in our remit, or it is, or this is what you need to do, and come back to me with this. So don't waste your time with people that are like, come back to us in 6 months, and because they're not going to invest in you. And it might be that you're too early stage, but then find the right investors that are at your stage, and just don't wait around for a VC to have another meeting with you, because truth is they won't. That's the truth.
That's true. I mean, one of the themes of this podcast in general is when we speak about investment, I mean, a lot of people and a lot of companies and VCs invest in scale-ups, right, for growth and scale-ups. But we've had, because we're all three startup entrepreneurs, we've had, this is a universal experience where hardly anybody's helping people get from 0 to 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Like everybody's doing scale-ups and this, but nobody cares in terms of 0 to 1. So you literally have to figure out a way of going to 0 to 1 by yourself, or from friends, family, and fools, as they say. But I think that one of the challenges around that is that there's a gap there, and especially for minority founders or women founders, is that we can't afford to take that risk of basically leaving our jobs or starting, because a lot of people that have privileged backgrounds, a lot of these glamorized startup founders normally started from somewhere, right? We have had this conversation about Jeff Bezos. We love Amazon, respect what he's done, but let's be real, he started from somewhere. Like he had privilege growing up. I mean,
I think the most extreme example is Donald Trump, when I think they
interviewed him. Oh my God! I think for the purposes of this,
what did he say?
Like, he went somewhere like, he said, I've also, had a hard time growing up.
My
dad gave me a small loan of $1 million. I was like,
I think it was on that 50 million, it was more than that.
It was something so dumb. I was just like,
exactly.
The worst.
It actually,
the worst.
Because if you look at someone like Jeff Bezos, right, this dude, first of all, grew up with 2 parents. Just growing up with 2 parents, it's privilege.
I agree.
And then he went to Ivy League school, right? Then he worked on Wall Street for a number of years, so he built up his contact list, right? If you're from South London, if you're from the ends, how do you know? Anyway, he saved $250,000 or something, right? And then he goes to, he then approaches, I think, he says 60 of his friends, and I think he asked for something like $50,000 each for some amount.
Can you imagine?
About 22 or 23 of his friends give him this money, and then he had a loan. I think some of his parents actually gave him something like another $250,000. And then he has had the privilege of actually growing Amazon for growth.
Dude, if we had that money, we would have built Amazon too.
Look, let me any person with reasonable intelligence could build something.
You could build something serious.
That's great. I didn't know.
So here's the thing. The point I'm trying to make is that going from 0 to 1 is virtually impossible, and you have overcome the odds. Like for anyone to get from 0 to 1, especially in the UK, the investment environment is very the risk is not the risk appetite. You know, the appetite
Yeah.
for risk among investors
Yeah.
at the super early stage is incredibly difficult.
Okay, I'm just going to emphasize one thing. Like, so I went through this really tough period, right? Bootstrapping, then this loan that got me into
As we all do,
trouble.
yeah.
Then I was like applying to accelerators, trying to get meetings with angels, trying to VCs, and it was just not going anywhere. And then I did get, you know, investment which saved my life, basically.
Wow,
so like, you know, had that not happened, there's no way I would have, like, God knows what I'd be doing. I mean, who knows? I would probably have just scrapped the idea and gone and worked.
That's credit to your resilience.
Exactly.
I was really lucky. Like, I
You've
was
been
really
incredibly
lucky.
resilient.
Because you could have been
You
like,
can't just say you've been really lucky because, as we've established, the luck is preparation
Yeah,
and
okay.
luck and
I got to give myself kudos for like.
you
Hard
have
work.
and this show, that's what we do. We give
100%.
kudos.
I'm like
Don't
a
give
dog
yourself
with a
kudos.
bone.
you got
like,
to do yourself kudos for that.
It's you've overcome
it's been
incredible
hard work.
odds.
Yeah, it really has. You know, in the early days, I was like, if this takes off, maybe I wouldn't deserve it. But
Yeah.
I've been through so much now.
Yeah,
that
no, as in like
I do deserve it.
I don't play that. Like I just have the same mindset.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Everything
yeah.
that even like small successes, I'm claiming them.
You
Like,
celebrate,
that was
right?
me, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I put the work
it's
in.
true.
I was
It
up
really
to,
is.
you know, whatever stupid time clock to make
Exactly.
happen. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of look, obviously you've learned lots of lessons around stuff, right?
Yeah.
Any specific tips? 2 or 3, you know, tips for people that are out there trying to start something from scratch
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure things out. Like, what would you say to them?
Okay, I think so. I know when I first started, you know, and I was like exploring things in this space. Everyone told me the same thing, which was go read the Lean Startup.
The book.
And I, you know, I mean, I just get a bit bored when I'm reading sometimes, and I think it might be a bit overhyped, that whole book and you know methodology. But I do believe that, you know, you don't necessarily need to go and like build the like, you know, most polished like, you know, grand plan thing. You can just sort of, okay, if you've got a general idea of like something you want to do, you can be really creative and smart and like, you know, create like a version of it that will do the main thing without like this massive budget, you know.
MVP.
The minimum viable product, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like the product, it can be a twist on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can do it with like, you know, like the way you've done, you know, Trendy People, where you built up like a mailing list, right, of people, you got your community together, you
Which is
started
actually
doing it.
Yeah.
He is his product, and he, you know, without a platform. And I feel like people can do the same, you know, if you really want to do. I mean, when I couldn't build my app, I went around introducing people myself, and I called it like
your
the
matchmaker.
Yeah, I was like, it was a challenge. It was like the hello a day challenge, and you had to. I would go up to someone and say, "Hey, I challenge you to say hello to someone else," and it was like social ice breaking for the challenge. We did it for like 100 days, and because we couldn't get the app made, so I was like going crazy, and I was like, I really, you know, want to do something, you know, basically what I want to do. So it was like real life stuff. So I believe that, yeah, like just. It doesn't necessarily need to be an app or a website or whatever, but it's actually really easy nowadays to even create a basic website on Wix or like Squarespace or whatever, and you know, build a Facebook group. There's so many ways to like, you know, sort of get even Telegram or WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. If you're a marketplace, just create a group with like buyers and sellers, you know, and see if there's interest there.
Yeah.
If you have like 1,000 people in a group, then you're probably going to raise investment, you know, to like make the actual product happen.
Yeah.
So like, don't think that, oh God, I can't find this technical co-founder and I can't pay an agency like 15 grand to develop like the MVP app. Just, you know, if you're really passionate about it, just do it. And there's smart, creative ways that will help you like get there and get you to funding. That's what I think.
Yeah, so basically, you know, get an MVP started, get something done.
Just do it.
You touched upon, you know, obviously, being in constant learning mode, so updating your operating software upstairs, basically just reading a bit more and kind of just keeping yourself upskilled, basically. Anything else at all that you think that, any piece of advice you'd give to anybody?
You kind of talked about the kind of advice on the, I guess, like the products.
Yeah. Okay. Life hacks.
Life hacks. Maybe
Yeah.
to that.
Okay.
life hacks.
Sure. So I'm actually like I'm a really hard person to discipline, and I suffer from like ADHD and ADD and all sorts of like other stuff that I have learned to deal with. To me, routine is really important. Not so much like the routine of like, oh, you know, like you got to go to bed at a certain time, but like I've just tried to get 8 hours sleep nowadays, and the difference it makes to my life, like just my conversations with my team, or the way I think about business strategy and like product and how inspired I am, has changed like massively. So everyone go get sleep. That's really important. Also try and like not eat crap, because that also affects you, and the sugar levels and stuff. Real
Simon's got
talk.
a story about that, don't you, mate?
Simon.
This is the name. This is.
And a bit of exercise, like honestly, like you are the best version of yourself. I need you to take care of yourself.
So he's tested.
So sleep, diet, exercise, the whole trio.
Well, honestly, you know, in this startup environment, in this culture, hustle, and no sleep. Look, I love my sleep. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love my sleep.
Your brain just can't function. You might be coming to work, but you're not making the right decisions. You can't even make decisions.
It's so counterproductive.
Really basic decisions, you can't think straight.
This is it. So I find it very. It's unhealthy when people are just adopting this doctrine of like you don't sleep. Don't eat until you what? Like if you don't eat, you'll die, bro. Like you're not going.
Oh, the intermittent fasting stuff.
No, just in general, like it's like oh my god, like and then I'm just not gonna eat because I have to get this thing done. I'm like,
oh no,
bro, like if you die, you cannot get that thing done.
It's true. It's not about dying for nothing.
It's not gonna happen.
I know.
It's not worth it for anything. No, make sure you hydrate as well.
Exactly. Stay hydrated. Oh my god.
That's why I love this office, because all of that kind of necessity stuff like fruits.
We're taken care of.
Water and that.
Exactly right.
That's important.
The other thing I quickly wanted to ask you about is that a lot of entrepreneurs are almost like jacks or Jills of all trades in the beginning. Because in the beginning, you don't have a big budget to hire all these consultants and people.
Chief everything officer.
Chief everything. Your chief working officer, chief risk officer, chief finance, chief encouraging officer in my part. So, what have you picked up on a number of skill sets? Because there's a stigma in society about being a jack of many trades, a master of none. Like, do you feel like you've picked up on some skills that have helped you kind of enhance your startup?
So I think everyone needs to be really like honest with themselves on what their like main skill is in life. For me, it was always connecting, different people, and I'm like a people's person, so people generally like me and like working with me. And I'm not the most organized person in the world. I'm not great at reading, writing, the sort of like stuff like that. So, but I'm good at bringing people together and like, sort of encouraging people, because so I basically decided at one point on this journey that I couldn't do everything well, because I just can't.
That's it.
But what I can do well, that's where like I need to focus on. And to me it was bringing people on board and stuff like that. That's my strength. So I'm trying to basically use my strengths to my like advantage and try and get on board collaborators, partners, team members who can fill in on the other sort of things that I'm not very good at.
I think
that's kind of how I mean there's certain people that can code, that can like have amazing business vision and strategy, but I'm not one of them, unfortunately.
I totally relate.
But you just gotta
No, good. That's clever.
I think that's how it works.
Absolutely. That's great. I mean,
Rob, you also like say, Simon. I think we're all like on the people side of things.
I'm very people.
I mean, you've got to be as a founder.
Jack's vision, people, infrastructure, especially.
Exactly.
That's very much me.
One thing I love about your team is it's a very diverse team. Both in terms of gender. No, it's not.
We're in the office.
No. Why should you be embarrassed about? Both in terms of age,
trouble
gender, you have some. The oldest member of your team is like what?
63.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he the bad boy?
No. So Pete comes from a background in like journalism, networking, systems architecture.
Okay, cool.
And you know, recently his health hasn't been great, but we've worked together for like 3 years now.
Oh,
It's incredible. Like,
So,
the
like,
team is so diverse. I see
He was cool, man.
we work
Yeah,
in the
he's
same
really
building.
cool.
So I see you in this board meetings and you have an incredibly diverse team. I'm like, wow.
I love
One
it.
day when I launch my thing, I want to have a team as diverse as Nina's.
I appreciate that so much.
Because honestly, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys sitting at the end
Yeah.
in the breakout area.
We go wherever we
And I was
can.
like, this is something team, man.
I know.
It's a
Yeah,
proper-
it's coming together. Like, you know, some
Yeah.
days we have 8 people in, where people like dabble in and out. But yeah, we're very diverse.
It's
it's
the
true.
start.
But I want to bring on more girls on my team because right now it's usually me and a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it's worked out.
Yeah.
So once we get some proper investment in, I'm going to go out looking for some female engineers and also, just.
Cool. So anyway, to wrap this interview up, I mean, tell us about how people can reach out to you, socials. How do people get in touch with you, and tell them where to download the app and where to go and who to reach out to.
Thanks.
That's it.
Because we need to get the word out there.
Plug-in time.
Plug.
I'm not
time.
really good at plugins.
Come on. You're the chief
Plug.
marketing officer, chief promotion officer.
Oh,
You're the
God,
chief
there's so
marketing,
many
social
roles,
media,
so many
finance
roles.
officer.
So you can find me on Instagram at Nina Chino, Ninachino. You can message me on there, or LinkedIn. I'm Nina Tumanishvili, which is really hard
We'll
name.
put
but
that
we
in
can
the
put
show
it-
notes.
Let's put it
Put
on
it
there.
up, put it
Seriously,
right- put it right
there's no
there.
way.
Put it in the show
We'll
notes.
have to
Put
put
it
it
right
on
there.
there.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Put it right.
Don't worry about pronunciation.
Or
And
the TubeChat, do socials and TubeChat.
yeah, so TubeChat app, TubeChat _ app for like our socials, and
Sweet.
we're there. But I think we can add this in the bio.
Yeah, we will add that in the
Yeah.
show notes.
Yeah, yeah.
But look,
Yeah,
we've been so
reach out to me. I'm like more than happy to
Yeah.
help where I can.
We've been so honoured to have you as a
Pleasure
first
having you,
guest,
sir, man.
and you continue to inspire
wow.
us. You
I'm
inspire
so
me.
excited
Because
for
this
this
show is really about motivating, encouraging, and
Yeah.
inspiring other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Simon,
To
you are my
explore.
motivation on Monday mornings.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love
You know, the whole
tuning
idea
into
is
your
to motivate,
voice.
encourage, and inspire other people to get on that entrepreneurial personal development and growth journey.
Yeah,
And by listening to the stories, hopefully they can then go on and do their own thing.
Yeah,
and
really
learn
appreciate
a couple of things, you know. So thank you so much for
thanks.
being
Sweet.
great guests, and but also massive big up to you.
Ah,
Go
it's a
download
pleasure.
TubeChat, right? Go download TubeChat. The thing I love
Let me
about
know what
this-
you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Review the
Comments.
app. Let her know what she needs to improve in order to make it
Yeah.
a better product. And you, money men or women,
Invest. Yeah, back us.
you have somebody who has gone against the odds.
Back
They've
the
literally
team.
overcome the odds
Thank you
to bring
so
something to life.
much.
So what are you waiting for?
Thanks.
They've got an MVP, they've got a team, they've got traction. They
They
tick the
got
boxes.
active users, like, come on.
Exactly, they tick the boxes.
Yeah,
So give them
Yeah,
a stash.
they will. It'll work
In fact, I
out.
have something to introduce you to, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, talk about that. Ladies and
Thanks
gentlemen,
so
thank you so much.
Bye.
And we'll see you soon.
Appreciate
Take care.
it.
Bye.
Thanks.